show talking local, regional, and national action. Here's Bobby Chaffee and Rodney Rodriguez.
Oh boy, here we go again. Another Monday night show of everybody's favorite racing show, the show that started it all. This is indeed the Revved Sports Show. Showtime, Bobby Chaffee right here. The Iceman, Rodney Rodriguez, that's that man right there. We're back in studio, side by side again, after a great feedback that we got last week from our promoters forum. So thanks for all the feedback we got from that deal. So
how about that? Night number one, the South Texas Championship, as they get that fired off. Really good idea right there. I think that's something that's going to. I think it's something that's going to work really well, and I'm just excited that they get to do that. It's unheard of, like we talked about. It's never happened before. I know on the pavement side it was always, oh yeah, we can do this, but I mean, it's one of those things. And this one here, I'm sure it's going to have some growing pains. I'm sure
it'll have some disagreements along the way somewhere.
You like that mic, man?
I'm getting used to it. I'm trying to get used to it.
I can change that back if you need to. I was just kind of messing around the other day, and I'm like, man, I forgot I had this thing laying around, so I put you a studio mic up.
I got to get a new mic for the High Five studio down south.
Yeah. So So we are off and rolling here. A quick programming note, and actually I'm going to double check here just to make sure. But I know that we promised you guys yesterday that we were going to have Mr. Lanny on, Lanny Edwards, but I don't think that's going to work out, unfortunately, tonight. And it's kind of one of those things where it's assholes like me beating him up to, hey, man, come on the show. And he's like, okay, whatever. But I just don't think that's going to work out. It's not the right time. But we can talk about that, though, because that really is a huge story that, broke last week, I think.
Yeah, actually, well, it was just the way that it was written. It wasn't so much that he just outright said it's closed. It was just kind of the way that it was kind of inferred. Is that the right word? Inferred.
Yeah.
That it was closing down. I mean, obviously you heard the rumblings at the 600.
Yeah.
What was going on? So think some of the people in the know. Now the question is, where's Brad going to run the 600 now?
That really is a good question because I
think you have to have a half-mile racetrack for that big of a race.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I knew this was coming, but it's not my place to be talking about any of that stuff. I mean, with speculation and all that. Even though everything that I had been told, on good accord, was that, and I know what's going to happen, but it's not for me to tell you guys. When I get a green light, I'll tell you later. But and then y'all can bother him, and he'll tell you. But
maybe.
I honestly think that if the 600, I think to do that, you would have to do it. Of what we have, I mean, I would say Cotton Bowl, I guess. I mean, as big and wide as that place is, I mean, I would think that would be the place. Who knows what's going to happen there? We can say Cotton Bowl's the best alternative, but hell, I don't know.
There is a big question mark at Cotton Bowl.
I don't know what's going on with that. I was there this weekend and I asked Marianne, I'm like, hey, tell me what's going on here. And she's like, I don't know. She's like, I won't know until we're done, with this season, which was that night. But, I don't know what's going to happen there. But, I mean, I would think there. But I mean, seriously, Bobby, I mean, 150 whatever cars it was. I mean, and it was – and it made the half mile look small.
I'd say, I mean, you need a big – is there any other half-mile dirt track left in Texas?
Well, somebody – when San Antonio gets bought –
Oh, yeah.
When that gets bought and reopened, hell, we'll just run it there.
I guess, yeah, you could. I mean, they're just damn dope enduro cars. I mean, they could run through some of the dirt, debris, and some of those trees.
Oh yeah, that's the whole thing. I mean, they can run just like it is right now, and they'll be totally fine. We can touch back on that here in just a minute, but I don't know if you guys are noticing us or not, but we usually don't have Nike emblems on here, and no, we haven't signed with 2311 Racing, so y'all could still like us. We're not affiliated with Denny or Bubba, so all of that is okay. But hey, man, on-demand shirts. We've kind of been teasing around a little bit, the last couple of weeks, and It was something that we've been working on here for a little bit with our man James Cole, and James, he got all that put together, and he was there Saturday at the Cotton Bowl, and he's like, dude, I got all your shit. I'm gonna bring everything to you, and boom, there it is. So yeah, super cool stuff. I mean, we're sporting them. We've got the revved up caps as well that look, it doesn't work with the headphones on, but we've got these as well. Bobby and I are going to have ample supplies of these for a little bit. So if you treat us right and you treat us nice, you never know, you might be able to get yourself a cap. And then coming up soon,
we might be able to sign it for you too at that point.
Now don't get crazy.
My signature should be worth 50 cents one day.
Yeah, 50 cents. That much? But coming up soon, there's going to be revved up shirts. Everything's going to be available, and that's a cool thing about with what On Demand Shirts does, because on demand, that's really the whole concept right there, to where you don't have to. In the past, when you buy merchandise, and they will gladly help you guys out. Check them out on Facebook, On Demand Shirts, ODS. What you had to do if you were a racer back in the older days, I mean, you had to, and we always struggled with it too when we looked at merchandise.
You had to buy a huge quantity of it.
Yeah, you got to buy like 50 of them, and the shit's just sitting around, and whatever.
I still have Tom shirts for that reason.
Yeah, and with James and them, I mean look, here's how good they are. Take a look at this. Take a look at this little presentation I got for you. There you go, right there. So they can do that for you guys as well, and it's a very affordable rate. I mean, after talking to James, it's one of those things to where obviously he has. You've got to go look at that place. It is.
I'm gonna need to make it a point to go down there. It looks
unbelievable.
Looks really cool on the videos that he's posting, the TikToks and the Facebook reels.
Unbelievable. And then you see like the embroidery room. I mean, it's super cool. But James is he's going to do you right. I mean, he's wanting to try to help racers be able to market themselves, and that's kind of his charge with that part. That was my whole thought when I first talked with James, and he kind of talked about the things he's doing. I'm like, well, how do you keep the doors open? And then I went and saw the doors, and I went and saw some of the shit that he's making in there, and I'm like, oh, okay. I see how you're keeping the doors open. I totally see how you're keeping the doors open. So, yes, on-demand shirts, we are glad to have them aboard, and super cool.
Yeah, they're a partner with our program. Call them. They could be a partner with your program, too.
That's right. And let them know. Thank them for being a part of local racing, and let them know that you saw them here. And tell them that Bobby and I both look very dapper.
That's right. Look a hell of a lot better than what we did before.
Well, yeah, we looked okay.
I mean, we looked okay before.
Looks like the Rangers have won again. All right. Well, that's great. Okay. Well, not really surprising, but there you go. Did you? I mean, we can. Let's go back to the Devil's Bowl thing. So with that coming back, and that I did not know this. I honestly did not know until I went there that is actually like the origin of
the birthplace of the World Outlaw.
I had no idea. They've got a plaque right there and all of that, and it's sad, man. That's a big loss. That's a big loss right there, because that's a jewel. That's a jewel right there.
A long time, over 50 years. That'd be like Waco closing.
Oh shit! Don't say that too loud. And
yeah, Waco ain't going nowhere.
And the funny thing was, it's like I was actually joking when I was doing the 600 with Steve, that I told him, because he was talking about racing in Texas, and I said, yeah, I've had the unfortunate pleasure of being the last dude calling races, like at San Antonio and Kyle and all these different places that closed down. And, I was at Corpus for the last race or whatever. And he's like, man, don't come here. We don't want you here because whatever's going to happen. And then this happens.
You do have a bad string of luck when it comes to that.
Dude, I know, man. This year it was like rain out. It's like everywhere I went, it rained. Hell, everywhere I go now, it closes.
How's that track in Mississippi going?
Well, they're still going. Yeah, they're still flying. They're still flying. But yeah, and that's. Oh man, you know that this one is not so much. This one is not so much like I've heard a lot. It is a little bit of if you want to call it land development. It is one of those things. But if you've ever been there, and I'm going to tell you this, if you've ever been there and you know what's right around that place, you know what's kind of around that racetrack, you can look on the back straightaway, and there is something right outside the back straightaway that obviously needs to grow, and that's what this is. I mean, it's one of those situations to where you know, it's a price.
An intimate domain deal again, you think?
No. This isn't a hostile takeover. I mean, this is just one of those things to where it's like, here, all of this. You want all of this?
Yes. Well, what is it? Sometimes there's deals you just can't pass up.
You really can't. I mean, it's that's where it. You know, I hate to say it with a lot of the racetracks I mean, look at Kyle. Look at Kyle. Oh, dude, the other night I was down in the front of at CBS, and I called CBS CTS.
Uh-oh.
Should have seen the look I got from the blonde-haired promoter.
Uh-oh. I'm sure she was pleased about that.
I thought she was going to I thought I was going to be like Blaney, thrown out.
Well, it happens. Well, it's all the same damn people, so.
Well, speaking of Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, that's right. Before we came on the air, breaking news with Ryan Blaney.
He's sixth place again, and what'd they say? A template failure.
A shock template failure.
Oh my goodness! And this is where, you know.
But they got him for being too short instead of too tall. Explain why a shorter shock would be better than a longer shock. I guess because it was on the left front, so I can understand.
Yeah,
that's why it's supposed to be shorter.
It's going to bite. But the whole thing is when they were talking about a shorter shock, I'm no expert. But I think that should have been caught. I mean, prior. I mean, I don't know exactly what they do in pre-race tech. I mean, I'm all confused about shit like that. I mean, I know they have the ride height and all of that. I mean, I know they got bump stops in there and they can move the car up and do all these different things right there. But I mean, if it was a shorter housing, or I'm not exactly sure, you know, with the rebound and all that. I'm not. So I'm assuming.
You know who could answer that for us one day? We get him back on the show.
Who that? John Hyle?
No, Blake Harris.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We do need to call him. We do need to call the old BIL, get him back on here and have a little conversation with him. Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. Yeah. That's a really good question. But, you know,
I'm just full of good ideas. Had some good ideas last week, the week before.
I gotta start writing these things down. You know,
Neil Upchurch, Texas Promoter of the Year award. Yeah,
I gotta write all these things down and write them in pen so I don't erase shit. But yeah, I don't understand a lot of that, but hey, good for him. I mean, getting that back, because he was done in the playoffs, but he gets his spot back, so I guess that's a good thing.
Well, he's still down 17, but
that's better than 46 or 48 or
it's 50, 62, I think is what it was, 60 something.
Man, that's a whole lot. That is a whole lot.
But your top eight's only separated by, what is it, 45 points from top to bottom, something like that?
Yeah, pretty tight. Pretty tight. Did you happen to see, kind of moving over to the Texas stuff, over at Grayson County, I don't know what that class that was, looked like a pure stock or hobby stock or something like that. That dude in the 66 car fighting. Did you see that one?
I was trying to watch it, but I didn't have enough service at the football game to finish watching the highlights.
Yeah, it was like those guys getting a melee, and they're all stopped over there, and everybody's like, oh, whatever. That dude gets out of that car, and it's a big dude too. I mean, it's a bigger guy. He's a healthy guy. That dude comes trucking out of that car, and he's doing like Michael Waldrop. He's just like swinging at that dude and doing all these different things. And I'm like, oh my God, you know, it's like out of control at the Grayson County.
The only advantage to seeing somebody get out of their car, run up, act a fool, try to beat somebody's ass through the window, the only advantage to that is that they didn't use their car to do the same thing.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the only advantage to seeing somebody get out of a car and try to whoop somebody's ass. Thankfully, their temper they thought better of it and didn't use the car as a battering ram.
Yeah. Yeah.
Say what you will about beating somebody's ass when they're in the car. That's what happened to that modified guy, remember?
Mm-hmm.
On pit road, they ripped that guy, Ramu or whatever the hell his name was.
Mm-hmm.
His family ripped that other guy out of the seat and started beating his ass on pit road.
Yeah. Yeah. No need to use the machines. I mean, and that's kind of the other thing that we always talk about. It's like, if you're that mad, figure out a way to settle this. I mean, and the whole thing where folks talk about, put a boxing ring and, promoters, let them fight over there. You probably can't do that anymore. It's like, I mean, I don't know, hell, MMA and all that shit. I mean, maybe you can. I mean,
look at how full Twin Peaks is, and we go to TMS, and there's a big fight on.
That's true. I mean, maybe that is how you settle it, but yeah, I mean, don't start using cars and all that stuff. I mean, that's not the thing to do. Factory Stocks, Rodney White, Touring Outlaw Modified Series, Wesley Veal, Sport Mods, Shane Hartline there at Grayson County with all of that.
That track's getting its momentum.
It really is, dude.
There for a while, it didn't have any, and then now it opened back up, and it's. I mean, granted, it's now the end of the season for most tracks, but yeah, it definitely gained momentum. There were some big time races, and some good action.
Wilson County Record checking in, just kind of looking over here at some of the feeds. We've got all these different feeds, and I can't see well, but Wilson County Record, what's up, guys? Well, we're just living the dream right here, my man. Looking stylish in these shirts right here, and the nice thing is, we a lot of times I wear Nike, but when I wear Nike, it's like made at the flea market. It's what do they call it? The underground, the black bootleg. My man Tim Sewell checking in. Tim, how you doing, brother? That did not look fun on Saturday night. That was one hell of a hit there into the concrete, and I will say, while it sucked for you, it made for a good highlight for me because I was watching you, and when that happened, I called it when it happened, and that was one of those where I'm like, ooh, I call that good. Oh. But Tim's car was pretty jacked up. So that was not the good part.
Thanks for taking one for the team there, buddy. Thanks for taking one for the team there, Tim. Yeah. That was good.
Mason Teague, my man, the Hurricane. Hey, it's Houston time. Oh, by the way, 710, all of you asphalt guys and ladies that you might want to tune in because we don't. I mean, there's news for you. There's news for you as to what the future of your endeavors are going to be. And that's always, I'm just glad that we're going to I'm just glad that what is today, October 16th. I'm just glad that we're going to learn something now and not, like in February.
February or March.
When the season's supposed to start. Yeah, Tim, you did call it good. I got to tell you, that was like a NASCAR call right there. I'm like, I don't remember what all I said, but dude, that did not look fun. Derek Miller, Lone Star Speedway, I'm hoping so too. Michael Lindsay, Nate, man, what's going on here? It's like people are hanging around. And I did say, like I was talking about, we don't have Mr. Lanny. He's not going to be on. We can talk more about Devil's Bowl. You guys want to chat it up right there. We can kind of talk about that. It sucks. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Good weekend it looked like in Sabine. Wyatt Wilkerson winning in the crate late models. Wilkerson ends up winning after Robbie Stewart got thrown out. So, but Robbie Stewart hasn't been reinstated like Dave or like Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, well,
as far as I know.
Generally, if you get tossed out on a short track level, you don't get a second chance.
Yeah, you done. You are done when that happens here. Derek Grigsby in the limited modified CJ Howell in the factory stocks. That's how all that went down at Sabine. Big night there as well, man. And these tracks are blowing and going. This is what I really like right now because you've got, like the other night when you had Sabine, you had Grayson County, you had the big show at Cotton Bowl. That was really cool because that's the spreading out part to where it's more conducive for to have packed pits like at Cotton Bowl. I mean, 181 cars at Cotton Bowl Speedway is pretty damn impressive to me.
On a Friday, there's 135 on Friday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was crazy.
Yeah, and then here comes DCRST rolling up with
37, 40, something like that.
37 or 38. Storm and Steve Sims getting it. Storm and Steve Sims going back to the pavement. Oh, hell. Look out.
Oh.
Back to the place where he won the initial TSRS race. No, or was that in Kyle? I don't remember if the initial one was in Kyle or there, but he won in both places.
He won. I know he won the opening night of late models there.
Kyle,
in '97.
Yeah, he won there.
Maybe he won the first ever TSRS race in Houston.
And hell, even your dad's checking in.
Wow.
Telling you to be safe. Your phone's going to ring. You better be ready.
It's off. It's turned off.
Don't call him, Dad. Don't call him. He's not going to. You're not going to get an answer right there. You are not.
Yeah, no, the phone's off. I've learned after all these years, turn that damn thing off. Or at least turn the volume off anyway.
Yeah. But Cotton Bowl, good show there with all the cars you had. My man Dalton Faulkner. I mean, that dude shows up and it's like, when he comes rolling up, it's like, oh hell,
like when I saw the results, I'm like, that's not a shocker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's really good. I mean, he's really good at what he does.
But the question is he going to go to the Halloween Havoc at 105, or is he going to go to the DTK in Pleasanton?
Yeah, because now that's been moved, right?
Not yet. If it rains, it's going to get moved.
Oh, if it rains.
If it rains, it's going to get moved.
I'm confused. Okay. I don't know. But I mean that's still, and that's a cool thing, with the South Texas, because some people were asking me over the weekend about the South Texas Championship, and I said a lot of it is bragging rights. I mean, there's money that's a
small amount of purse for it. But
there's extra money that's going into that, and
think of the size trophy Owen's going to make for that.
Oh my goodness!
Like one of them 6 foot tall trophies. What are you going to make for that?
Ain't no doubt about it. So night number 1 is done there, and then you got the DTK, and then you've got the Clash, and then you've got.
Did you see the purse for the Clash?
Man, the Clash.
Ooh, that's a lot of damn money. And I'm not just saying that because I announced that at Texana.
Yeah, no, the Clash.
That is a boatload of cash for a race weekend.
They should just call it the Cash because, that's pretty healthy right there.
If you hadn't seen the purse for the Clash, go to the Texana Facebook page, Texana Raceway Park, and look at the purse for the Clash. If you got a car that fits the specifications for one of them classes, chances are you need to load that sumbitch up and take it down there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, Southern Challenge, Birmingham. I saw that they went down there. The Junior Limited's running at Abilene Speedway. So you had, I mean, look at that right there. I mean, and that's the cool thing right there. Just hold on, Art. We will. You are about to find out, my man. You are about to find out from the YouTube chat, because that's a whole different thing. And the YouTube, if you go to RevvedUpSportsShow.com and you watch live there, that's going to circle you around and take you to the YouTube thing. So if you happen to hit the YouTube page or YouTube feed, for one thing, subscribe to it. For number 2 thing, like it. But that's that one there. Is Pavement dead in Texas? Pavement racing dead in Texas?
No, it was on live support for a hot minute.
There are some right now. And that's a good thing. You've got a bunch of diehard people that are trying to work at this. You've had a lot of great folks that have, and I'm just glad, because it's always like. Folks want to, yes, I've been affiliated with many of them, and this is not why I'm saying that, but it's always like everybody wants to slam whoever did it before or before that person. And it's like, well, you know what? They gave you a year and a half, 2 years, whatever it is, that you weren't going to have anyway.
Mm-hmm,
so it's like kind of back off a little bit, It's like they kind of set the table, they kind of put the placemat down and let this thing keep going, and that's what's kind of frustrating with that. And I mean, it's like the whole thing with the Cotton Bowl thing. I've had it not been, I know whatever is going to happen right now is going to happen, but were it not for Marianne and H, you remember the discussion we had with him at the damn Pensacola. I mean, it was.
Well, I was announcing there when I announced when the track was under the previous management.
Yeah.
And then I announced when H and Marianne took it back over.
Yeah.
Or took it over the first when they took it over.
And that was one of those things to where they're like, we're going to try it for a year or two and see if we're able to whatever. And
remember what, 6 years ago?
Yeah, here we are. I mean, we're deep into this, and it's like that's where we always go to. Don't be beating up the promoter, because they're the ones that are putting a lot of heart and soul into this thing, man. 17 Junior Limiteds, and that's a real man. I love the Junior Limited. I just think that it is just such a great concept right there with that, and we've talked to a lot of those kiddos on here that have done a fantastic job, and that's cool. Steve Whitaker Jr., Stevie, he wins in the big mods over there at the Cotton Bowl in decisive fashion. boy,
not really a shocker.
I tell you, Stevie. I mean, Steve is fast no matter where he goes, but him ripping that place, holy shit! I'd never seen him at there in a modified. Holy moly, damn! That was impressive.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
I embarrassed Miss Brenda Kirby at the intermission because we were doing the champion recognition and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, here's the big winner, Chris Morris. This year he wins Brenda Kirby. I looked over there, and it was like one of those things where if the look that I got from her would have just like ripped my soul out.
Yeah, well.
I was like, yeah. I know that look. It's like being at home.
Yeah.
But
that what the hell did you just say? Look, yeah.
Yeah. She's like, shut your ass. Anyway, we get that a lot.
Yeah.
We get that a lot.
We don't have filters. A lot of times the filters don't get turned on a lot.
Yeah. G.W. Egbert in the IMCA cars, stock cars. Stock cars? Man, I'm all thrown off over here trying to think back to all of that. But GW wins there, yes, in the stock cars. And he was in Dwayne Toyne's car, and that was really cool. Toyne came up to me. I was up there on the top side. I hate it when Dwayne Toyne and Dylan Coyne are at the same race.
Oh, yeah. Or you got like 4 or 5 Dylans in the dwarf cars. Dylan Screen, Dylan Coyne.
I know.
Dylan
Budnick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, man, I get all thrown off and get tongue twisted.
Then you get both Spreens in there. You're like, shit.
Yeah, the Spreen brothers, it's kind of, and then when they start racing together, or it's a lot of times when you get a so-and-so Johnson and the so-and-so Johnson racing, and it's like, okay, it's like Johnson, then that's actually easy, though, because it's like Johnson continues to do whatever, but Johnson is doing whatever. So it makes it easy. Our job gets easy.
Bubba on the bottom, Bradley on the top.
That's it. That's exactly right. But, 181 cars. Great night there at the CBS. So really, really cool for them. And then, Devil's Bowl. They wrap it all up with the 50th Annual Winter Nationals. So that looked like a packed house. And, you just add to the everything that's going to be happening right there. Just the fact that that's about it.
I think the World Outlaws is last show this upcoming weekend now. So
yeah. Sam Hafertape wins there in the ASCS sprints. So that's your winner there. John Field in the race receivers. So and this is it. Donnie Schatz wins at Lakeside this past weekend. So he will carry all that momentum in over to Devil's Bowl for the final. And that's it's going to be an emotional night, man. That's I wish I could go to that. I wish I could go to that.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting to see how that's all gonna shake out.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool, but at the same time, it's really gonna suck. Because just the fact. I guess if you're gonna bookend the track, if you're gonna really bookend the history of that just incredible place, what a better way to do it? You bookend it with what really made you a staple, and just think about that, because we talk about all of these racetracks that are just known, that are just known around the country, and Devil's Bowl. Shit, with the way that the Outlaws have grown and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the birthplace of it right there. That's crazy. I don't know how I did not know that.
Well, it's dirt.
Me dumb. Well, but
dirt kind of.
I've been trying to.
We're not as deep in dirt as we want. We're deeper in dirt now than we once were.
Well, I've been kind of trying to go backwards and trying to learn things, but that really does suck. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that they get to end that way. If anything good about it, that's good, I guess, if you ask me.
Well, the good news is at least they have one last race. A lot of tracks don't get the one last race until it's actually already happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's a little solace in there, knowing that at least you get one more race there before it's all said and done.
Yeah, that really is the point there, that you get to finish it out with what's been kind of your staple. Kind of your staple. That really is a good thing. So good for them, but yet it sucks for them. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know we said in the 7 o'clock hour, but I know he's with us. So let's go ahead. Let's go to the hotline. We are going to dive in right here, And obviously, I know we've got a lot of folks that are checking in, wondering, and people get so edgy, and I've gotten a lot of messages, and it's like, oh my God, what's
and they expect the worst.
And
right?
I told you people last week, it's like, look, when I know something, when people trust me with something, I'm not going to tell you until they let me. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of that whole situation right there. But a good year in Houston, and getting ready to wrap it up with the 21st, and we'll talk about that first, because joining us right now, Mike Knotts, Magic Mike Knotts checks in. Yeah, he's watching. I bet you're watching, Mike Knotts.
Well, he's not in Alaska anymore. I think he's back home.
He's in San Antonio. He's in San Antonio, home of Wimby and the Spurs. Let's hit that hotline. It is our man Owen Pittman. Owen, we can talk about the topic at hand, but what your thoughts here moving the 21st coming up? Time to put her in the oven for 2021.
Yeah, how's it going, guys? How are y'all today?
Good, man. How about you? You staying busy there? I see some good looking hardware sitting there behind you.
Yeah, so we got Houston. We're wrapping up, like you said. So championship weekend. That's 20 plus trophies to put together just for the champions, not including our regular. The top three all get a trophy there at Houston. So another 24 trophies for the regular racing. So a lot of trophies put together, 40 something trophies just for Houston. And I got Super B going on with big race over there with the Spooky 50. So yeah, a lot to do here on the trophy world, but a lot going on there in Houston, and excited to spend one more day. I've spent a day talking to Dan at Day Motorsports, getting tires lined up, and working on purse things, and working with Mike Meekum all the time to try to get ready to go for another big weekend of Houston racing.
No doubt.
So, Owen, it's just as simple as just flipping the lights on, right? We always joke about that with promoters all the way. I mean, a little more complicated there in Houston when you have to work with some of the other outside stuff with the drag strip, but it seems like the relationship is there and starting to bud into a really good relationship there with Dean and the support for the roundy round stuff there at the Oval Track.
Yeah, no, it's good. Dean is good to work with. He's actually excellent to work with. I had no issues at all. And I tell you what, we got Carl Edelman on our side. Big Carl. They call him Big Carl, but he's not big. He is a big guy, but he isn't big like he used to be. But Carl is a real asset to us over there as well. So in Houston, I tell you what, just a rock solid team. I'll let the cat out of the bag. The big announcement we're waiting on right now is that Rodney won't be there this week. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, that's something that we had talked about a while back, and it's kind of one of those things to where I'm needed, every now and then I got to make some time for the wife, and I've got an anniversary on Saturday, and there were some plans that were made way back when. So I think had that not happened, I would have probably still been there anyway. But yes, but you guys are going to be fine without me. Y'all are going to be. I know you've been all over it. You're going to be fine.
Yeah, we got Steve Cape's going to come in and announce, and then we always got the backup. Who backs you up there, Bobby, but man, he's got a key role to doing some really good stuff. I really think what we do with the post-race interviews that Bobby does for us is a key component that, man, I like to see more tracks do. I enjoy them when Mike Meekum winds up finally putting them together after Bobby gets them done and sends them out. They're enjoyable. So I tell you what, that's a great opportunity. It speeds the show a little bit because we don't have this long sit down on the front straightaway, talk with the driver, and then you got me out there stumbling through
getting them out of the car. I mean, it's hard now because all that shit they're wearing. It's like it's harder.
Yeah,
now.
It takes them forever to get out. Yeah. So now they get to go down there and talk to Bobby, and it's really a good deal. So can't thank Mike and Bobby enough for putting all that together and making that happen. So yeah, but anyway, we got Steve Cape going to replace Rodney. Not a hard replacement. What the hell?
Yeah, and you get a monkey out there, and you'll be just as good shape,
And then, of course, Bobby's there, and I've announced a couple times, so I can always back them up. We'll get it figured out.
Yeah, we'll get it figured out.
No doubt.
It's your turn. I start.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, and I do want to. We'll get to the pavement stuff, and again, we're building drama. I mean, this is what I do. It's like stall. South Texas Championship. Your thought on that? That came together pretty quick. And you know, it was one of those things to where to be able to do that. You've been in this game a long time. We've got the tracks down here down south. I like the collaborative effort. The one thing that I know you and I had a short conversation earlier. The one thing that I did want to clarify with you is, I mean, even if you miss that race in Page this weekend, you can still come and be eligible for this championship. I mean, you can come out and you can still win this championship.
Sure, you come out and pick up the other 3 wins, and you never know. Obviously, it's 40 points to win the race. So you're 40 points up on anybody that wasn't there, right? If you won. So Dalton Faulkner, for instance, factory stocks, 40 points up right now. Say he chooses not to go to the DTK because he's at the Havoc, or they move it to the 9th, then he might be at the Texas Grand because that's that weekend. So either way, the DTK could fall on a big 105 race. So you never know what's going to happen there and who's going to show up and not show up. A bunch of money in all those races. DTK is a huge race. So hoping they get the same 38 plus cars to come that went there to Cotton Bowl to come to DTK and then add to that, obviously. But yeah, you didn't have to run at Cotton Bowl to be eligible to win some money. And right now we're top 5 with Ace Transmission and L87 kicking in both classes to make it the top 5 are getting paid. I foresee that being the top 10 before it's done. Maybe 100 just. Me too. Some of that will come out of me and 317 awards before it's done or somebody else. But we'll get to where about the top 10 are going to make some money out of that championship deal. So pretty fun, pretty neat, something different. Quick time, like you said, kind of thrown together at the last minute. But my opinion, some really good promoters putting something together comes together real well, and it'll be well run.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if you're listening. We were talking about Texana. We know about the facility needing the press box and all that. But that purse that you guys put out for the Clash is amazing. We were telling people to go, if you hadn't seen it, to go to the Facebook page and check it out because that is an outstanding purse for a special event. There's a lot of commas all the way throughout the payout there.
Yeah, so that's a good purse. It's we're excited to get the Clash in. You know, last year it rained out, so we had to move it to March. March wasn't our best show just because of car count. So, you know, we watch Devil's Bowl close. We watch what goes on in the world, and we're paying out over $10,000 at the Clash this year. The makeup Clash in March, this Clash, just in factory stocks, over $10,000 to win this year. So only 22 cars showed up in March for $5,000 to win show. Let's hope we do a better job getting some cars there this time in November, and hopefully people that want to get on and criticize that all the promoters are making all the money, man. We're trying to pay it out to you guys, but you got to show up to make it. You can't just watch it from the house. Yeah,
no doubt. And lastly on Texana, I think I can only imagine, you know, from the pictures that I saw, you know, from the weather damage right there, and trust me, I am living through it as well. I mean, I got a house all beat to shit. I just had a car that got picked up today because they totaled that thing out. I mean, it looks like that place took a beating from that storm system that rolled in that evening.
It did, but having an owner like Cord Beard, yep. It's always build back better, right? So it's making racing great again at Texana for that guy. I tell you what, yeah, he's definitely the trump of racing. He throws it out there and he ain't scared. So Bobby, announcer's booth's going to be better than ever. 40-foot Connex coming in. Damn. Total platform on top. Going to have your own booth inside there. Going to have a luxury box in there. Going to have a scores box in there. Excited to see what comes for Texana. Really great work going on by Cord and his team. Just one note for scoring, we do have Professional Motorsport Solutions, Brad Hockaday, Bradley, coming in to take care of the Clash again. One of his events he's done every year, other than he didn't do March. It was kind of goofy for him. He's got a lot going on, obviously, but he'll be back in town for another big event there at the Clash. So happy to have him. Man, he runs a stellar hardcore show. It'll be a good time. So the Clash, and you know, with Brad Lee coming in and all that, it takes away that favoritism deal, right? Your track favorite here, your track favorite. There ain't no favorites with Brad. He's a hardcore. He hammers you, period. So,
he don't like anybody.
Yeah,
he doesn't like anybody. So you don't have to worry about that shit with him. I mean, there's no problem with that.
That's awesome. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
we're looking forward to the Clash. Although I can't be there both nights, but I'll definitely be there on Saturday night for the big man event. So now let's hit the race ranch real quick. Obviously things were going really good down at the race ranch and getting ready for the the big Western show there at the end, the shootout. Talk about the progress you made down at the race ranch so far from the beginning of the year all the way till now.
Overall, race ranch has been good. It's been solid performance out of the crowd. That's getting the key down there. Car count isn't one of those. It's just a world beater,
Yeah.
A lot of locals, a lot of people not traveling. We're way down south here, man. So it's tough to get down here, and I understand that. But the crowds have been packing them in. That dollar Dos Equis just eats them up, and they love it. So we're pretty proud of what we had for a season this year down here. Overall, just solid performance out of crowd. We had Rodney come down and do some events for us, and overall, it's been a great season. So no worries there. We're going to roll right in. There's some big talks of the ASES National Tour. Just got a phone with him today for the race ranch early on next year. So be looking for that as well. I don't want to let too much out of the bag there, but excited to get some stuff. That the race ranch is going to continue to grow. Got some new ownership there as well. So we'll see how they go. We're working together here to make it a great place.
Yeah, no doubt. Great place to watch racing there, and it's been fun. And looking forward to getting back down there in December. And with that badass setup there at the Clash, I may have to make myself available.
Yeah,
I'll just go sit in that press box. I don't even need to work. I mean, just let me go sit there.
I don't think I've ever had my own room like that before.
No.
Hey, Rodney, come Friday night, and you get to be the one that gets to beat him to the punch and be the first one to announce out of it.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
you can go down Friday, and then I'll come back on Saturday.
Yeah,
we'll both be on Saturday.
That's true. Yeah, we'll get that figured out. All right, Owen. So obviously, we've been talking about this. We touched on Houston asphalt. People freak out. The one thing that I've obviously the car count has not been what we want, and some classes have been. I got to tell you, man, the legacies. I mean, these guys. I mean, they sell out. I mean, they are there. I mean, trucks have been strong. I mean, it's hot or cold. I will say the crowds have been. Your thought on the crowd? I mean, there are nights that I think our car count's been a little low, but I mean that crowd shows up and they're pretty energized. That's the one thing that, not the one thing, but that's something that I'm really glad to see. I mean, those folks show up and man, they're fired up and ready to watch racing, and that's the very important element in this whole thing.
Yes, just like I said with the race ranch, the crowds have not disappointed in Houston either. Pretty solid crowds, and like you said, what amazes me is I can be standing in the infield while the races are going on and with a headset on, and I can hear them cheering, yelling and screaming and going crazy just for a 3-car Legends race. 3 Legends on the track, and people are going nuts because the top 2 are battling it out side by side, switching positions. So the asphalt crowd's pretty intense. Them guys, they're pumped up and they're enjoyable. So far, the crowds, and they all come to the pits. We've been busting our ass to put on a good, solid show that don't waste no time, get it in, get them down in the pits by 10 o'clock. And so far, we've done a good job. We got a stellar team over there from top to bottom, with Terry Race directing, and obviously, Tech is as good as it's ever going to get with Edelman, and Mike Meekum behind the scenes helping us, Rodney on the mic, or Steve Cape, and then Bobby running what he does. And all those pieces come together. Yeah. Kevin Sullivan, man, I can't thank him enough, and Debbie for all they do. Like I said, it's just a good team, and excited about the team that we have and the team going forward.
Yeah, no doubt.
So in terms of the appeal of the asphalt racing, obviously we get questions all the time. There's a question on the Facebook feed. Is asphalt racing in Texas done? And Roddy and I both said, no, it's not done because of the effort with the team in Houston, and then some of the news coming forward that we'll get to here in a minute. But the state of asphalt racing, we've had this conversation before. It's the spark is there. The spark has been there, and the good news is it doesn't look like the spark is going out, and it should turn into a little bonfire coming up here.
Yeah, I think Rodney can share some bonfire here in just a second, and I think racing in Houston and asphalt is really good. Way better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
When originally, John Albertson got with me and talked to me about helping him, and we got this thing rolling, and appreciate what he did to get us to this point. And then he decided to move on. But where we're at today is good. I mean, it's good, and I don't think asphalt racing's dead at all. I think it's actually going the other direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. So let's go to it. So the good news is there will be racing at HMP in 2024. But, I know it's been, 4 races, 6 races, whatever. Owen, lay it on them, dude. Let's talk about what's in store for 2024. Because for the people that have always said, well, I can't commit, I can't commit for once every 2 months or 3 months or whatever it's been. Lay it on these people, and I'll pull this schedule up. Lay it on them. What is coming up in 2024 at HMP?
Schedule is done. We actually have a schedule. Probably, y'all know if anybody else has put out a schedule yet?
No, sir.
HMP's schedule today, right now. HMP schedule is out. 11 races. 11 races at HMP in 2024. Solid dates. Super happy with them. I think we're gonna, as Roddy would say, we're gonna kick ass. Overall, super stoked about the 11 dates we have in 2024 at HMP. And let me mind you, I can't hear anybody else complain about, well, all the tracks on the dirt are on top of each other, because there's 11 dates that I know 2 tracks won't be running. That's and right. The other tracks can get involved in, right? Because there's 11 dates. I'm going to be at that asphalt track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think a big part of this, Owen, to me, really is that, that right there, that is where you can, for the folks that are worried that it's not worth the investment. Right there, and it spaces out nicely. March 5th, April 20th, May 4th, June. I can't see, but it's essentially once a month with a couple of double ups in there, maybe. But that right there, I know the financial part, all of that factors in, Owen. But dude, that right there is a very economical and a very full schedule when it comes to pavement racing around here.
Yeah, I tell you, it is a full schedule, and we didn't want to overdo it. Actually, me and Dean worked together, and Dean, there was more dates offered than what we ended up with here.
Oh, wow.
Some we have to work with schedules to get it right, so we wanted the right number. We also didn't want to go overboard. We are getting some solid crowds, and we don't want to overdo that to a point where the crowd's like, we know we can go anytime. I think a 12 to 13 race season, both my tracks right now, Texana and STS, are running 13 race seasons. You obviously get a few rainouts here and there. You wind up with a 10 to 12 race season. It doesn't kill the pocketbook of the racer. It doesn't burn the fan out from seeing it too much. And it gives everybody a solid chance to enjoy what we're doing here. That's what it's about, having fun.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's an awesome schedule. Like I said, you don't want it's kind of like you don't want to give them everything, because, like you said, if they're like, oh, we'll just do something with the family this week because we can go next week. I think working down at Texana with the number of race dates that's on the calendar, it's not a deal breaker. You miss 1 race, 2 races, you still have enough races on there to whet your appetite, both from the grandstands and from the driver and team participation level as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the number's right. I think the number's good. I'm excited about it for Houston. I'm hoping this is a building piece. It's a building block into long-term, having 11 to 12, 13 races a year for many years to come. So I think this is our first year to really set up and have a good, solid schedule. We put it out way early.
Yeah.
Plenty of time to work on your stuff. Plenty of time to get it ready. And we got some things going at Houston with this factory stock deal. I'm excited about the factory stocks. I think the factory stocks is a class of the future for Houston that's going to make this thing really, really interesting.
Well, and one thing that I do want to talk about with that, and again, Adam Haw is a friend of mine. I've known the dude forever. He's an asphalt guy. His mom and dad, they're clients of mine. They're all clients of mine on the real estate side. But to have a dude like that come out and show what these cars are capable of, I think that was really a head turner right there, where folks were like, wait a minute. This really is possible that these things will work on the pavement. And I think even though it was a little bit of a lower car count than what we wanted, I think that was something where people are like, holy shit. Rowdy Day just messaged here, asking, he's never run on pavement before. I think this is something. Steve Sims is coming to the race this weekend. I really think it's something. There's your stock class. And it's like it's already built, isn't it? It's a no-brainer. It's built. Just bring them over.
Yep, it's a no-brainer, and I tell you what, it ain't just Steve Sims. Obviously, Adam will be back. Jesse Sandoval, who was there the first time, he's back. Steve Sims, Heath Stewart. Heath Stewart, I believe, is coming.
I wondered about him with
Taylor's
that
car.
Taylor's car.
Yep. So the rumor is Heath Stewart's coming. I've talked to Tim Homeyer. Homeier's coming. There's a a hell of a dirt driver, multi-time champion there at CBS. So there's some cars coming that are some real studs and going to be some good racing. Tell you, part of the factory stock deal with HMP is the rule thing. You know, we put 3 rules in there to try to. We don't want an asphalt class. We want to be able to, and that's something that Adam. What I loved about Adam is he was willing to share information.
Yep.
He told everybody, "Here's the gear I had to go to." So now everybody's in that 656, that gear ratio, right? He said it right on your show.
Yep.
And he didn't have to move lead. He didn't move any lead. You're like, wow, how do you not move lead to go from dirt to asphalt? Well, he didn't have to move lead. One, because we ain't allowing him to run 58% left side weight. We're only allowing 53,
yep.
Right? So all that plays in, and part of what we've done our research on and hard work to figure out how to make these factory stocks to where you can go track to track without spending every dollar and without spending all your time switching the car back and forth. So Rowdy Chenard's another one going to be there this week.
Nice. That's a good count right there already.
2024 classes to be determined, or the same core group of classes that we have right now in 2023?
Same core group will be for sure. We're not going to get rid of anybody at this point. And I say that, we got some talking and figuring out to do with bootleg and factory stock, right? So we got to make a happy medium with this factory stock deal, that we don't want to overdo it, but then we don't. If it's solid and people want to do it, why not do it? There's plenty of them.
Yeah.
It's not like every track only has 3, and there's plenty of them sitting around. So there's a lot of opportunity with that factory stock to keep it as a regular class, and there's a lot of interest in that. So if we see that, we'll probably stick with that. Problem is, we get to that 8, 9 classes, man, it's like, dude, again, you all know how I am. I want to be done by 10 o'clock. I want to put on an efficient show. We can't be there all night racing 20 classes of cars. And so there's a little bit of work to be done. We put that bootlegger deal out there with an opportunity for guys, the old street stock from Kyle type car. And it really is. You could fit them cars right in. They just ain't coming. We see the same 3 cars every week. So that class really isn't working like it should. And there's definitely some opportunities to move on and do something different.
Well, and I think part of that, Owen, is what I did like about with the last race with Adam. What you had, I mean, you combined them, and they were Adam was the class of the field. There's no doubt about it. But that is a full blown, badass factory stock. That's the only way to say it. And he was racing against with Winnie and those guys. But they were compatible. I mean, that heat race, that was the coolest part about calling that heat race, is that you had Adam 12 in the factory stock, and Winnie was right on his ass right there, and that was a bootlegger. So I think there's room right there. And even the old HMP Pro stocks, I think this is the chance where they can pull those out of the weeds if they're still there and get back out there and have a place where they can race competitively. And that's really the what you're looking for, I think, with all that.
Sure, absolutely. That's what we want. Fit the most cars into something that the cars are already out there, and the ability to bring them in and race together. What I don't want, and what worries me, is I don't want to get the factory stock deal to a point where you go, well, we're going to combine with bootleggers, and then a lot of factory stock guys will get the perception of, I don't want to go do that because those cars got all this, and they got weight jacks, and they're asphalt cars, and we can't compete. It's just perception. We've seen it actually function very well so far, but it makes sense to have a good solid set of rules that cars feel like they're getting a competitive, fair, situation when they come to the racetrack. So that's a key to me.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, things to expect on Saturday, this upcoming Saturday. Everybody's meet and greet. They've been asking for it all year. The meet and greet's back. What else can we expect on Saturday night there at HMP at the HMP Oval?
Well, we moved to single truck qualifying there right before that, and that's due to Supreme Foundation coming on board, putting up 200 for fast time. Trucks are really the solid class there, right? They bring a lot of trucks every week. They put on a hell of a good show. There's plenty of them, whether it be here all the way to Florida. So there's a lot of opportunity for the trucks, and we want to give them the opportunities here to really put on the show they deserve. So they'll be doing single truck qualifying, and we'll run into meet and greet. The meet and greet's kind of a neat deal. It just takes time.
Yeah.
And I'm trying again to be done by 10 o'clock. So other than that, the Outlaws are back. We still have a $500 bounty on Robert Barker. And I know there's a couple other Outlaws with some interest in taking that 500 home. So or trying to. Good luck. Robert's tough. So we have overall, I feel like a pretty solid schedule that we've worked on and revised several times leading into just the championship. Who's going to take home the top 3 trophies this week for champions at HMP? I don't know how long it's been since we gave out some champion trophies there, but excited to hand them out this week, and hopefully guys are pumped up and ready for 2024 as we're releasing the schedule today here on Revved Up.
Yeah, no doubt. And I do think, kind of back to that 2024, just when you look at trucks, to me, I hone in when it comes to trucks, modifieds, and outlaws. I think this is an opportunity, Owen, to where you're going to be able to draw in some of those guys, some of the Mobile guys, some of the Pensacola guys, because you know how that goes as with a solid base like that, with a solid schedule, they'll work these races in, and it never fails that you're going to have to where you'll have a big race to where things are going to grow to a special deal. And I think this is huge, in my opinion, for those 3 classes. Again, eco stocks, all of that is super important. But when it comes to those, if you want to call it the top tier, the more regional stuff, I think that next year with this solid schedule that you're putting out, I think you better expect some invaders, because I do believe they're coming.
I hope so. And I tell you what, part of like what me and Meekum have talked about, Mike talked about, is putting the schedule out now and having this done is a real boost from a standpoint of trying to go after some sponsors to put out some really solid events, right? And you know what amazes me about asphalt over dirt, guys, is how bad they keep pushing me to go, we want 100 laps. We want more laps. You give them 20 or 50 and they're scratching their head going, it ain't enough laps. We don't want to go over there for that. What? What do you mean? You run a dirt race and you run 30 laps and they're going, whoa, hang on. We run 20 laps.
It's too far. So, it's too much, yeah.
Yeah, we go over 20 and people start freaking out. And then you go to asphalt, and if you ain't running a 100 lapper, you ain't running nothing. Like, hey, come on.
Yeah.
So there's some opportunities to go after some sponsorship, to bring in some events that'll bring that level up, maybe run a 100-lap modified race, maybe run a 100-lap truck race. And the money comes with that, right? You can't just run those races for 500 to win or 1,000. There was 1,000 to win, but still, we need several thousand to win on 100-lap races and marquee events throughout the year, and start working towards that. And that's part of it is get this on the board now. Now let's go after the sponsorship to back each event that puts us in some really good racing.
Well, and it's kind of like the whole thing, Owen, because I know the knock on asphalt racing for us for a long time, and I have owned it, that we at CTS from that 2013 to 2016 thing, we caused this to where it was like where people say, I don't want to be there all day. I don't want to have to get there at 11 or all of that and be there late or whatever. But it's like when you have practice later, the asphalt folks are like, well, why is all that so late? Well, because we think you don't want to be there all day. I mean, that's kind of the knock. And when there's no Friday practice, it's like, where's the Friday practice? Well, you don't want to be there all weekend. So it's like that's a tough one right there, going back and forth with all that shit.
Oh, yeah. No, and it's all learning for me. Got to remember, I hadn't run an asphalt track since I run CC Speedway.
You didn't have to be there, yeah.
2000.
It was like dirt back then, yeah.
Yeah. I ran 2 years of running CC Speedway there, and I tell you what, since then I hadn't hardly been to an asphalt track much, honestly. So the races we run at Houston have really opened some doors, opened some eyes. Like how are we doing this, and why is it so much different? So Rodney, your point on spot on that, man. It's interesting there's just a different world, but we're adapting, and I think it's going pretty well, and we got a hell of a team.
Yeah. Hey, Polero says no 100-lap truck race. He said he's too old and fat. So
yeah.
I totally get that.
He's told me that before.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Owen, dude, thank you for trusting me with this ahead of time. Man, I'm super stoked to see that amount of dates. I've not seen anything like that around here since 2016. I actually saw it for 2017, but that we all know what happened with that. But man, this is exciting. I know that this Saturday, the 21st, is going to be massive, and what a way to springboard into this. Congratulations, dude, on being able to pull this off. I think this is one of your. I tell you, you keep accomplishing shit with these racetracks. This is one of your best shenanigans that you've been able to pull off, man.
Appreciate it. I tell you what, thanks to Dean Baker and Carl Edelman for the support and help and having some trust. I tell you, just from Rodney, from you and Bobby being there, and obviously Mike Meekum Dean has a lot of faith in us, and
Yeah.
having a lot of faith in a team that's there running the organization builds to bigger and better things. He's got a lot of support and a lot of back behind what we're doing. So thanks to Dean Baker for having that trust in us. And it takes all of us to put that trust together, and it's working, guys. So
Yep.
we're gonna keep Houston and asphalt racing around for a long time.
Gonna be fun. We'll definitely be kicking asphalt in Houston this Saturday, and then into 2024. Gonna be massive. Congratulations, dude. Have a great race weekend, you guys. And man, we'll talk to you. I'll see you if I don't see you before December. I'll see you the next time I see you, man.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Thanks, Owen.
You bet. There he is, Owen Pittman. How about that? How about that right there?
Big news, and everybody was expecting the sky to start falling. I mean, my phone was texting, "Hey, what do you know about Houston?" I don't know. I mean, I kind of knew. I didn't know the exact dates. I mean, I kind of knew what was happening, obviously, but you know, like you said, we can't reveal everything when we go to do this stuff. So
yeah.
You know, I mean, it's you know, I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, some people were like, "Oh no, Houston, the sky's falling."
It's over.
The sky's not falling there. It definitely looks like the rocket ship is starting to take off.
Oh, man, take a look at that right there. I mean, March 9th, April 20th, and I mean, this thing is built nicely. I mean, you've got June where you've got a couple of dates right there, but in June, is still at that point right there, June the 1st, I mean, you're going to start, I mean, you're probably going to be
get hot. It's
going
to fall off.
June 22nd is going to suck. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be hot. July 6th, I mean, that's a holiday weekend, and here's what I like about this schedule, and this is where, you know, in the past it's always been kind of a stumbling block for the HMP Oval, is that look at this right here. I know you got July 4th, I know that's a holiday, but when you look at this thing right here, there's not really anything right there to where it's like you're going to be on top of you know, I don't know what the Texans and Astros and all that, whatever. But this is a schedule that is going to, I mean, it lays out like a real race schedule. Lays out like a real race schedule.
It kind of goes like the old school schedule.
Yeah, this is like, you know, we used to do in Kyle.
Because if you look at it, the way the races are done, the way that I always thought about it, back in the Mandabach days, you could always tell which one of the two entities, the oval track or the drag strip, was making the most money.
Yeah.
Because one of the secrets was, the one that was making the most money was running on the 1st and the 15th.
Yeah.
Every other weekend, right? So you almost have that same type of schedule here, where you got some of the races at the 1st of the month, got some of the races in the middle of the month. So you're kind of running that 1st and 15th schedule. Not that that's what Owen's trying to do, by no means. We don't have any inside information of that, but I mean, it makes sense the way the schedule's laid out. It's out here first. Everybody else will work around it. Obviously, you know, that's just dates that you won't have at Texana and the dates you won't have at the race ranch.
Yeah.
So that's good to know. But hell, I'm excited about that big ass press box now at Texana.
Texana, yeah, that and that.
And Owen does a great job there. But Cord, he mentioned Cord.
Yeah.
Cord, he likes to spend money at that place to make that place better.
That's
not
really,
that he likes to spend money, but you know what I mean.
Well, and that's really the whole thing with that place. I mean, I mean, if you look at it, and candidly, you and I have had this discussion that racetrack was a badass press box and shitters away from being, I mean, just
elite.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if the restroom got knocked down. I hope it did. I mean, they haven't mentioned that, but I mean, the whole thing. Because Marianne is the best example. I mean, you go into her shitters. I mean, even the guy ones. I mean, even the dude ones. I mean, there ain't no piss on the floor. I mean, sorry. I mean, there may be. I'm getting all animated over here, knocking phones down. They're
animated over the bathroom. Dear Lord.
I'm a very avid shitter. That is one thing that I do extremely well. And piss, but that's important. That is super important. That you have to have that. I mean, especially these days. Back in the day, I mean, you remember Speedorama?
Speedorama, you just had a ton. You just had a tube to piss in, and that was it.
That's that
a trough.
The trough on the ground. On top of that, you know, and that's the other thing. You know, at Devil's Bowl that I thought was really nice. They've got a aluminum thing, you know, with the real aluminum trough and all that. All that was missing was the ice in there, you know, to really absorb that stuff like they have at the dance halls. But that's important. that stuff is super important. But Texana, I mean, just the changes that they've made with the grandstands right there out of turn 4. I mean, you don't find grandstands like that.
And they put in that new sound system that was in the press box that got destroyed.
Well,
so.
And I can only imagine that it's going to be even better or equal, at least to what was there. You know, if the shit got all knocked down. So that's great news. The Houston thing is great news. I mean, here it is once again, guys. I mean, and this is your thing right here. I mean, here are the dates that you need to put in your calendar, and I don't foresee. I mean, you know, we've had in the past where dates get put out, and for whatever reason, something changes. I mean, barring a natural disaster, which you never say never.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think you're pretty solid right here. It looks like to me.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
March 9th, they'll kick it off. It should be cold.
That's even better.
It should be cold on March 9th, generally, right there. And that should be right before spring break. That's probably the weekend before spring break.
Yeah. Milton, I love your idea, my man. And it was, thank you for letting me go hold up your spot over there the other night. And yes, I disregarded the spot on the chair. It was all good. I appreciate that very much. But I mentioned that, but just with everything that was already, it was like ponchos and Queen. To me, I would take the ponchos. But this time, it's not up to me.
You're going to watch Queen and Adam Lambert again? Didn't you just see them?
No. I hadn't seen them.
Oh.
I really don't care to see them this time. But yeah, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, well.
Anniversary. It's seriously, guys, every anniversary, it seems like for our anniversary trips happen in January. But, you know, with this one, this is how we came up with this once I was reminded of it. It's like, this will be great. And this was before I'd committed to doing the Houston stuff. So it's not, you know, it's my fault that I only figured it out yesterday or this morning. But it was one of those things to where it's like racing during the day, even though it's Formula One, still racing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, whatever at night, the Killers or whoever it is.
Oh, that's how you're going to. I knew that was Queen and Adam Lambert. I figured that's where they were performing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. At Dakota. Yeah, it's at Dakota.
Yeah.
So we'll have the sprint race and then all of that. I mean, whatever. I mean, I don't care. It'll be fun. I'm getting quality time with the honey. That's what's important.
Is she going for the racing or is she going for the concert?
Going for both.
Oh.
And I don't think I'm going Sunday. I don't want to go Sunday. It's going to be a shit show. So, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I got a friend that's selling tickets, but I got to get back with her to find out how much she wants for them. She got the big 3-day pass and parking.
Yeah. Sugar Sean, thank you, my man. Yes, I saw you from afar at the drivers' meeting, and that's where I was really talking about that it was a star-studded night with all the drivers there, and then yourself. You were there. Mark Roy was there. It was like a who's who of just racing, like racing royalty that was there the other night. You know, just a lot of famous people.
Seemed like it.
Just a lot of famous people there for that shindig happening over there at the CBS the other night. So really cool stuff. Hey, we're gonna come back here in just a minute. We've got a lot of, now, obviously, with on-demand shirts, but, of course, Generation Race Cars, Rogers Dapp Chevrolet, GM Performance. We've got a lot of folks that are part of this. If you want to be a part of this as well, RevvedUpSportsShow@gmail.com. Message him, message me on the Facebooks or on the Twix, and we can figure something out if you want to be a part of this because, man, we're breaking like news all the time. It's like, here you go. Here's your asphalt schedule. Racing ain't dead. And I really do think what I was talking about, we'll get to that in just a minute. Stick around. More coming up.
Hey racers, Phil Whipple here with the Revved Up Sports Show. For the past year, you've heard us talking about our partners over at Generation Race Cars. I'm proud to say they're back again this year, and they're off to a great start. Generation Race Cars, located in Springtown, Texas, continues to offer new chassis body combos all the way to turnkey sport mods and limited modifieds. All cars are built the same as you've seen in Victory Lane with drivers like Alex Hickam, Jeff Shepard, and Dean Abbey. All customers are valued and treated equally, so why not join the winning team? Justin Long is committed to giving each and every customer the time they deserve, along with a commitment to bring quality into every build. If you're ready to join the team, give the guys over at Generation Race Cars a call today at 817-528-2947. You put a lot into your racing program, so why not take it to Victory Lane with Team GRC?
Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has the absolute best price that you're going to find on GM parts, transmissions, and engines in the country. With the largest inventory as well that you're going to find in the U.S., Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has what you need and has the best customer service to back it up. Contact one of our Texas team members for quotes and get that on your dock or at your front door as soon as possible. Rogers Dabbs GM Performance, best inventory, best prices that you're going to find in the United States. Rogers Dabbs GM Performance.
All right, back here again on a breaking news edition of the Revved Up Sports Show. Special thanks to Owen Pittman and the gang at the H&P Oval for trusting us with the release of their 2024 schedule. May not be the only schedule that gets released on this show, so make sure you guys are always paying attention. You just never know what's going to pop up.
That's right. All you people that have schedules coming out, don't just put them on Facebook. Don't just throw them out there. I mean, I know you have your racing pages that are very good or whatever, but bring them to us, man. We would gladly share those here, and we can bring you on. I mean, you can even be on camera like Owen. I mean, and that's where a lot of folks, when I ask them, it's like when they want to come on, it's like, you want to do a phone, you want to do a video, and it's like, phone, more comfortable. Owen's like, I don't give a shit. He's like, you tell me what you want. So, I mean.
The video worked. I think the video worked.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So you guys, I mean, seriously, racetracks, I mean, if you want to release your schedule with us, I mean, it's every Monday at 6:30. We'll get you in there. It can be a 7:10 time slot just like that right there. If that doesn't work for you, I mean, you tell us what works for you, and we'll get your ass on here, and you can release your schedules. And that's, the way we're going to do that. I mean, that's what the show is for. To build, and that's why we got people like Generation Race Cars and on-demand shirts that want to be a part of this. That they want to they want to see this. And Rachel Plant checking in about Sean with Racing Royalty. Miss Pickchick, when I said Racing Royalty, I meant you too. I mean, she's talking about him being Racing Royalty, but that's what would that be like? The Barbie. With the pink,
all the pink,
that could be the Barbie there of CBS and of local racing right there. Barbie, we'll start calling you Barbie Plant.
Ooh, let the record show that was his idea, not mine.
Barbie Plant. Yeah, I called Taylor Florio one day at Waco. I'm like, Taylor Swift, and Joe Spillman looked at me and he's like, shut up. Oh, sorry. Okay. And that's not a good response.
She's 4 feet of racing fury right there.
You ain't never lie.
Maybe 5 feet, but,
yeah.
Tiny firecracker is Taylor Florio.
Yeah, and she was out there as well this past weekend. So super exciting news. And I do think, Bobby, that really is a big deal, that it's going to – I really do think – I mean, I know that we have talked for a long time about trying to get some of the out-of-state – I don't know I guess I'm one of the biggest ones that have such a hard on to trying to get some of the Florida and Alabama people to come over here. I think simply because it's always been for me.
They don't travel here, though.
They don't travel here. They never have. But it's always been one of those things to where we would go there, and I think that's the biggest problem that I have when I talk about that is, for a long time. I mean, look back at those Pensacola days. I mean, those truck classes and all that.
The trucks at Pensacola were started because Ricky Brooks, when he was teching at Pensacola, came down and was teching the modifieds.
Exactly.
And saw how successful the trucks were. It says, I want this class in Pensacola.
Exactly.
And that's how the truck class got established in Pensacola.
Yeah, and I think that's why I want so bad for us to be able to have some sort of race here in Texas where we can draw some of those guys. I mean, I know Augie and them have come over a couple of different times, but like when Augie and them come over, I mean, it hasn't been, a big event. I mean, I want it to be a big deal where we can get some of these big guys, not big guys, but some of these national guys that come over and they travel. And I think that just the whole fact right there that we have something really solid. I think that's
if only an SRL national race could show up in Houston.
Well,
think of the magnitude that would have on racing, asphalt racing in Texas would be an SRL or ASA tour. I don't think you'll get the ASA tour, but you probably got a good shot of getting in the SRL national.
Yeah, well, you never know what you might get. So I don't know, dude. You never say never. Speaking of asphalt racing, we had this that happened yesterday. I don't know if y'all saw this in the ASA race.
Showing Gio what position he finished in.
Yeah, I think Steven wants to have a little face-to-face with Gio.
Some of the crew coming out onto the front stretch as well. Oh! Burnout, and down goes one of the crew members.
Yeah, so if you didn't see that, so what happened right there when Ruggiero goes around, one of the crew members definitely does go down, and we'll kind of play it back here just so you can see it one more time. So what happened here? You had an on-track incident between Stephen Nasi and Gio Ruggiero. So that happened.
Eight tires corner better than 4.
So Nasi comes over and he wants to have a little conversation there with Gio. And, Gio's not having anything of it. He's won the Winchester 400. He starts to do his burnout, and he hits a crew member, which happened to be the dad of Stephen Nasi. And that's, I know Stephen was, super pissed after that, obviously, as you would be when that happens. And, look here. I mean, they had to tackle Nasi, get him calmed down and do all these different things. It was one of those things. But I mean,
Ruggiero did do him kind of dirty on that restart, though.
He did, and Nasi was talking about hitting a crew member and all these other things. Why are crew members on the track when there's still cars out there? That's my question. I mean,
my guess
Stephen
is
Nasi's a friend of mine.
I'm guessing Nasi's dad was yelling at Ruggiero and didn't see him, and the 22 just didn't see him when he cut the burnout. Of
course, that's what it was. I mean, there's no doubt about it. That was nothing. That was nothing malicious. He didn't mean to hit Mr. Nasi. It was one of those.
If you're going to hit him, you're going to try to go forward and run his ass over.
I'm going to run him over. Yeah. I mean, but when you look at that right there, I mean, he's only doing what all of these guys do when they win races. You get out there and you do a burnout. I mean, that's what you do. I mean, we can watch it one more time, just kind of give you a look here at what happened. So there they are. They're having the conversation, or Gio's not. It's Steven. He's getting out of the car. Here comes everybody. I mean, that's a Donnie Wilson guy, but there's Mr. Nasi that goes ass end over elbows when Gio's doing what you do when you win a race. And I mean, here's my whole thing. What is everybody doing on the racetrack? That's my problem. And here comes Steven. He's obviously pissed, and he had to be restrained and all of that. But I just don't think that,
Nasi's going to do nasty things.
Yeah. I just, whatever. Sad to see that. I feel horrible for Mr. Nasi that happened to him. But that's easily avoided by one, settling this shit somewhere other than the track. Again, they weren't using the car for weapons like you were talking about. But go fight in the motorhome lot, because those guys are in motorhomes too.
Oh yeah.
Go fight over there, or fight at like the dude says at Houston, go fight at the Dollar General, at the Dollar Genital, as my wife says, or just leave it alone.
Yeah,
Just
gotta
leave it
have
alone.
something. I mean, but that's the prestige of the Winchester 400. Stephen Ashley trying to go for what, three of the last 4, or 3 in a row, something like that.
Snowball this year is going to be unbelievable. I think.
I think I'm going to be able to go. I think I'm going to be able to go to the Derby. Problem is, I don't have anybody to go with because you'll be working and announcing.
Yeah, Maya's got to go early this year. Damn. Shit. Not only that, can't have fun. I mean, I shouldn't bitch about that because I'm liable to get a call tomorrow and they'll be like, "We don't need your services."
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to working at the Derby. So speaking of working at the Derby, look at that Houston schedule. And I think that's one thing I will be very interested in. And when I'm there, that's obviously something that I'll be, I'm going to be helping the Racing America folks. I honestly think that this is something, well, whatever. I don't know. I'm not going to talk out of my ass right now. But I really think that this is something to where people are going to see this, and it's really going to be great for Texas. I'm super excited to see that.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great that it's done early. Done now, and we'll see how it all shakes out.
And the whole thing with that is it's not going to be where, like we were talking about with the schedule being out early. It's not where Waco or Kennedale or whatever racetrack, they're going to see that and they're going to be like, oh, we can't run March 9th because the pavement track's running. That's not what.
Hell, 105 ain't going to carry. They'll schedule on top of HCP.
They don't give a shit. They're going to race every week. I mean, but that would be a really cool thing if somebody, went in there and it's like, hey, how about on March the 9th and April, whatever they are? I mean, how about, maybe the factory stocks are off. But it's hard to let the factory stocks be off. I mean, because that's a show.
It's a moneymaker. Well, that's the moneymaker class because that's where all the cars come from.
That's a show. So it's hard to do that. But really cool. So
maybe they add in the asphalt tracks to the South Texas Championship next year.
How about that? How about that right there? You have an asphalt race, and it could be like the Roval.
That'd be fun. 4 dirt tracks and an asphalt track.
Mm-hmm.
Be the king of the factory stocks, the king of the sport mods.
That would really be the king right there. And I got to tell you, man, I'm kind of sad that I'm going to miss. Well, I'm a lot sad that I'm going to miss that race on Saturday because just some of the folks that Owen was talking about right there that are going to be coming, with Adam 12 and when he's talking about Homeyer wanted to go to the last one, but he couldn't. I mean, but when you're talking about Heath, I thought about that the other day when I saw Taylor out there in her car. I'm like, Although Heath told me in the winter interview or the champion interview, he said, "I really don't miss asphalt."
He'll come back to it.
Yeah, Storm and Sims, man, that's going to be like shit.
The sad part is I probably won't get a chance to watch it because I'll be doing Victory Lane interviews there in the pits.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot.
I'll have to watch it with our friends on Race on Texas.
There it is. Let's go back. Marianne checking in. Marianne, great job the other night. I think one of the two cool things that I saw on Saturday night, number one, having Debbie Williams at the racetrack. To me, that was so cool to have her come in. She walks in and she comes over and she's like, "Oh my God, it's so great to see you," whatever. And then getting to talk with her, and it was so cool because our conversation, a lot of what it was on that pre-race show on Race On, it wasn't about racing. I mean, it's just about life shit,
Yeah.
So that's a badass right there. I was calling her a hero. I was trying to be very politically correct on that. She's a badass. There's no other way to put that. Just everything that she's overcome. By the way, speaking of that, and I mean, did you see Suzanne Summers passed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that. I thought she's already dead, but
no.
Yeah, she's still up and running apparently.
Oh man, no, she's Chrissy's been good for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I thought she had breast cancer multiple times.
Yeah, she has. But that was the thing. Well, I've been there as well, and I always call it's like so and so, and I'm like, they're dead, and it's like, no, they're not. I'm like, oh shit, okay. All the celebrities, it's like, hey, what do you think about so and so? I'm like, oh, well, too bad they're gone. I'm like, oh, Oh, they're not gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, Debbie, I mean, just so cool right there. And her family, they were there and they just enjoyed it. And it was really cool. I did joke with her when she came in. I said it on the pre-race show. I see Debbie walking in, and my first thought seriously was, where's my papers?
Yeah.
Yeah, where's all my papers? Because I don't know who any of these people are. I don't know their sponsors. I don't know where the hell they're from, but my papers are going to tell me.
She made that work. She made that make us look good.
Oh, my God. When she
hand us those, and then of course as we went through the season, we didn't need the papers as much because we knew it all.
Yeah, you figured it out. I mean, because that right there was, and I know a lot of announcers do that, and I mean, I write all my shit down. I mean, it's like somebody. I was doing a show with, I don't remember who it was, and they're like, "Hey, let me see your spreadsheet, how you remember all this." And I'm like, for one, you can't see inside my brain. Number two, anything that I'm trying to remember tonight that I don't know is like written here. Can you read this? And they're like, I can't read that shit. I'm like, that's why I'm a doctor. I write it that way. That way nobody else can read it.
Oh, that's why.
That's right.
That's why nobody can read your handwriting.
That's right.
Got it.
I write it that way. Marianne, great job. You guys did a really good job, you and your team. HE, that track on Saturday night was bulletproof. That was really good. Art NASCAR checking in back there. The Winchester, I can't really, what's that say here? It's on the YouTube. The Winchester Speedway. That's yes, definitely separates the men from the boys. I mean, those high banks right there. That's one of those tracks, and I mean that's where when we watch them now with ASA, and that's kind of again the shit that kind of drives me a little crazy. I totally get the ASA stuff. I totally get it. You're using that name, but to me, ASA is Bob Seneker, Mike Eddy, Alan Kowicki,
Mark Martin.
Yeah, Mark Martin, Jim Sauter. I mean, to me, that's what ASA is. But hey, whatever, it's working. If I would like to see, we'll have as we get later, once the season is done, probably past Snowball, we can have a real good conversation right here. I'd love to see if there's a way for the Stars Tour and the SRL to figure out how to fucking get along and make this a little bit easier for these guys to not have to pick and choose races. But again,
yeah, that growing pains, learning curve, whatever you want to call it for this first season.
That ain't no learning curve, dude. That's just hard-headed dudes. You know those guys.
I was trying to give them the benefit.
You know
of the
those guys.
I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt.
You know them. You know who we're dealing with right here. That's the whole problem right there. They'll get it.
I was trying to give them a benefit of the doubt.
They'll get it figured out. They'll get it figured out. Just the betterment of racing. But anyway, okay. One last time. Here's your HMP schedule for 2024. I'm sure that's going to be released now that it's beneficial. Not beneficial. Been made official.
No, and it's probably out by now.
It probably is already out right now. And we'll, of course, post it on our page as well, so you guys can follow along right there. Weekend coming up as we get set for another race weekend. Of course, obviously, you'll have the racing in Houston. You still got dirt track racing happening right now. And don't forget the South Texas Shootout. That's getting hot and heavy. Great start at Cotton Bowl. And like Owen was talking about right there, just so there's not any confusion, anyone that wasn't in Page, that does not mean that you're not eligible to win that championship. That just means you're in the hole, is what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those two classes, the factory stocks and the limited modified sport mods or whatever, that just means that you have to make up that ground. So that's really what it's all about.
Hope, and I think about Houston, hopefully they'll be making, going to the copier, making some black and white copies of that schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Put them 2 to a sheet and
cut
the sheet in half and passing them out as they come in the door.
Well, you know what? One thing that Owen has done, I know in the past, and again, not like he has anything else to do, but this might be a good time to, do those programs that he does.
Now, I think you're good with just a schedule.
Well, yeah, just kind of like an HMP thing, and then 2024, or something like that. Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah. But that's going to be blasted out. I think that folks around the country are going to see that schedule, and it's going to be very beneficial. So to answer your question, Art NASCAR on YouTube, no. Pavement racing in Texas is not dead. Pavement racing in Texas has just gotten a new lifeline that's going to bring it, keep it going for the foreseeable future.
Perfect timing. My computer died.
Well, perfect. Right there. Time to cut the cord right here and do something else.
Cut the cord, watch the Cowboys lose, whatever. Astros done lost. Bad news for Houston, the Astros lost good news for Houston. There's racing in 2024 at the H&P Oval.
And even for Houston, they got a pretty damn good quarterback too. C.J. Stroud. Yeah.
There, I know the tight end, your boy from Dallas, has outperformed Jimmy Kittle the last couple of weeks. So, yeah.
Yeah, and the Dallas quarterback don't know if he's coming or going because that dude is gone. His spark plug is gone.
Yeah.
That sucks. Rest of the week, my man, what's going on? Obviously, Houston on Saturday.
Houston on Saturday. There's an away game for UTSA that starts at 5. I'm going to try to attempt to watch while I'm in Houston. Don't know how well that's going to happen. They play the Tom Hermanators there at Florida Atlantic. So it should be a high-scoring game. Both teams undefeated in conference play so far, so that can go a long way towards determining who plays for the conference championship there in December. But, yeah, lots of good stuff. Just looking forward to a solid week and getting into Houston and then, enjoying the rest of the racing season, what's left of it.
That's it, and that's all. Big show time. You guys, thank you for checking in. RevvedUpSportsShow@gmail.com. You can message on Facebook at Revved Up Race Talk on the Twix and or message one of us. Any questions, any schedule releases? Seriously, you guys want to release those schedules, let us know. We will make time to get your ass on here and give you a hell of an audience to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Bobby, I don't know. You just got a message. Danielle Birmingham just said, Bobby, ...
I don't know. My computer died, so I don't know.
I don't know what that means, dude. You did something wrong.
Uh-oh.
The flip-flop lady's going to get you. You better watch out.
Watch out.
She's going to see you and hit you with that flip-flop. All right, guys. We are out of here. Thank you, Art. And we're done. We'll do it again next Monday. Thank you, Owen Pittman, for checking in. This is #Real Race Talk. This is where the shit started. It is the Revved Up Sports Show. He's Bobby. I'm Rodney, and we are the hell out of here. Y'all have a great week.